Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to talk to you all about some of my all-time favorite books so that I can convince you to read these, because I would love to have more people to talk to these books about because I love them with all of my heart. I'm gonna have books from pretty different genres in this video, so if you love horror but you don't like fantasy, I'll have some horror. If you like fantasy but you don't like literary fiction, I have fantasy. I also have literary fiction. So I have a bunch of different stuff to offer up to anybody who's interested in any of these books. So we'll go ahead and get started. One of my favorite books is Pines by Blake Crouch. This is such a fun horror book. It's about a guy named Ethan who's a Secret Service agent. He's going to a small town in Idaho to investigate a missing persons case, and on his way there, he's in a terrible car accident. He wakes up in this town with no phone, no ID, and no idea really what's going on. And he can't contact anybody from outside of this town, nor can he get out of the town. And it's so trippy. It's so good. It had me locked in and intrigued. It's not a book I could read in one sitting because of how trippy it feels. My brain was like, no, we need a break. We're a little spooked right now. But it was so good, and I didn't see the twists coming. I was pleasantly surprised with every aspect of this book, honestly. And I'm really excited to read the rest of the series because I didn't see the twist coming, and now I'm like, whoa, what is the rest of the series about? I'm super excited for it, and this was a 5-star for me. The next book is a fantasy. It's Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. And some of you might be thinking, I read that, I didn't like that book. That's okay. Is it trash? Maybe. Do I like it? Absolutely. It was one of the first ever fantasy books I read, and it's what got me hooked into fantasy. It's about a girl named Violet Sorrengail who decides to go to the Writers' Quadrant, I think was what it was called. And she does it against her sister's wishes, but mainly for her mother, and I don't really remember the reason why. And she goes, and she's considered like weak and not capable. She's clumsy. She's like every other FMC you read in a lot of fantasy books where she's small and she doesn't belong there. But as it being my first fantasy, I had fun and I really enjoyed it. And then she experiences a bunch of different things in the Writers' Quadrant. You get to see her go through this journey of personal growth, which I thought was really fun. And so I really enjoyed this book, recommend it. I was just locked in because it was one of my first ever fantasies. And I think if you want to get started in the romantasy genre, this would be a great one to start with. It has a really fun romance as well. I like the romance from the first book. However, I don't love the romance in the rest of the series, and I'm not a huge fan of the rest of the series. So keep that in mind. If you read this one, maybe just read the first one. I mean, you can keep going, but just know that I don't recommend the rest of the series. I just recommend the first one. The next book is a thriller by Agatha Christie. It's And Then There Were None. This is about a group of people who go to this island. They're all invited there under mysterious circumstances. And at some point, they realize they cannot escape because the tide has come in and boats cannot come to get them. And people slowly start dying off one by one. And they cannot figure out why. They don't know how it's happening. There are no signs to anybody on the island. And it is just so good and so shocking. I did not see the twist coming whatsoever and was so pleasantly surprised with every aspect of this book. I read this in 8th grade and it still holds up for me. It was just so good, and I love the mystery. I love most of Agatha Christie's mysteries though. And I like, even though it's not a historical fiction because it's set, in that time, because that's when she wrote it, I think was in the 30s or 40s, I love the historical aspect of this book. So I would highly recommend this one. The next book I recommend is a sci-fi. It's Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This was my first ever sci-fi. This is a YA sci-fi. It's about a girl named Spensa who is basically trying to live up to her potential and prove herself so that she doesn't continue to live in the shadow of what her father did. And so throughout the book, you see her go on this personal journey of kind of learning the truth about what happened and learning different things about herself, making friends, realizing that not everybody is as bad as they've treated her throughout her life. I thought that her personal growth journey in the entire series was just amazing and loved every single book in the series. I think the entire series was a 5-star. I think I rated every book 5-star. So if you like sci-fi, you like YA, this is such a great option. I was just really impressed with the writing and the story building for this whole series, and would highly recommend this one. The next book I recommend is Throne of Glass by Sarah J Maas. And this is more of a recommendation for the whole series, but the series is about this girl named Celaena Sardothien, who is an assassin. She's been an assassin for a long time, and she's kind of learning new things. Secret things that I cannot share with you if you haven't read it yet. She's learning new things about the world around her and about herself. And there's fae, there's castles, there's sword fighting, there's assassins. There's all kinds of fun things in this entire series, but this book is especially fun because it has a mystery alongside the fantasy that I really enjoyed. I thought the mystery was super fun, and I had a great time with it. I wouldn't say this is my favorite book in the series, but I did love this book. I think my favorite one is Queen of Shadows, which is the 6th book? No, I'm sorry. Queen of Shadows is the 5th book. Queen of Shadows is probably my favorite, and it's the 5th book. But I highly recommend this book and the whole series. Now, if you don't like the first book, you probably won't like the rest of the series. So don't continue after the first book and just try to get to the 5th one. I recommend you try this one if you're looking for a fun fantasy with fae, sword fighting, assassins, castles, all that stuff that I mentioned before. If you're looking for those types of vibes, highly recommend this one. Now on to my all-time favorite romance. It is Funny Story by Emily Henry. I absolutely loved this book and ate up this whole thing. It's about a girl named Daphne, and her fiance breaks up with her for someone else. And she ends up having to move in with her fiance's new girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, which sounds crazy, but that's why I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I loved the drama. I loved the characters and their chemistry and all the different dynamics and kind of some scheming. I loved the scheming. This is just such a fun book. And if you like romance, but you sometimes get bored with the normal, everyday, kind of similar stories in a lot of romance, this one is super fun, and it feels different, I think, than regular romance. I ate this whole thing up. I think I read this book in like a day and a half. I was just flying through this because I was having so much fun. So I highly recommend this one. The next book I recommend is a literary fiction. It is by Kristen Hanna. It is The Four Winds. This is a book set in the 1920s about a family who lives in Texas during that time in history where the land got so dry and there was so many dust storms that it was killing off people down in Texas. And it's about a family trying to figure out how to basically save their land and save themselves. And sometimes saving yourself means leaving home. And so they're trying to navigate all these different things and not having any money, trying to figure out how to survive. And it's just such a beautiful story. It's heartbreaking, don't get me wrong. The whole thing breaks my heart and I get so sad. And I think I cried a lot during this book, but it was beautiful. If you like to cry for sad but beautiful reasons, this is definitely amazing. I would highly recommend this one to anybody who enjoys historical stuff or fiction, literary fiction. This is just such a great book, and the author's writing is amazing. She is so talented, so definitely recommend this one. The next one I recommend is a dystopian romance called To Cage a Wild Bird by Brooke Fast. This is such a great dystopian book. I was thoroughly impressed with this because this is the author's debut novel, and I was so impressed. It's about a girl named Raven, and I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is the city. It's not post-apocalyptic, but it's got like post-apocalyptic vibes, if that makes sense. And the city kind of reminds me of Ba Sing Se. It's got like walls and different class settings, like in Ba Sing Se from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So that was one really fun aspect of this book for me. But it's about this girl who's trying to save her brother. He gets sent to prison and she follows him to try and save him and get him out, basically. There's a super, super fun romance in the prison. It's so fun. I love the dynamic. There's a lot of side characters in here that really add great aspects of the book and different development for the main characters. I just thought that it was really fun and I really enjoyed almost every part of this book. The second one comes out on February 7th in 2027 and I absolutely cannot wait. This book left me on a cliffhanger and I need to know what's happening and I need the next book immediately. So if you were looking for a super fun dystopian romance with really good writing and a really great plot, highly recommend. The next book I recommend is a romance. It is Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. This is about a girl named Elsie. I always forget her name, but her name is Elsie. I looked on the back here. She's a physicist. She's basically trying to gain, I don't know if traction is the right word. She's trying to gain a place in academics at a prestigious college. She's wanting to become a professor so that she can better support herself while also pursuing some important research. And you get to see her journey basically through that and some character growth that she goes through that I thought was really fun. And this book has chronic illness representation, which was amazing. I love chronic illness representation. As somebody with chronic illness, I just loved it. I ate it up. I thought she was so fun, and I loved getting to see her conquer that and do the things that she loved and the things that she was passionate about. I also thought the chemistry between the two characters was really good, and I really liked the main male character. He had really hot vibes that I loved. Would definitely recommend this if you're looking for a science-y romance. Ali Hazelwood has a lot of great ones along those lines, and this is such a fun option and really gets you hooked in to the book. Another book that I love, it's a sci-fi. It is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, and no, I haven't seen the movie yet. Please don't spoil it, even though I know what happens in the book. I know there are some things that are different in the movies, so don't tell me what those are. But this is a book about a guy named Ryland Grace. He has to go to space to save humanity. And I'm going to leave it at that because I don't want to spoil any aspect of this book because it is so amazing. The scientific aspects in this book are super heavy, so that was a little hard for me at times, but I did enjoy learning about it, and I thought it was really fun. This whole journey was just so good. I was so invested in the character and loved him. He was so funny. This book has a lot of comedy. You wouldn't think that since he's traveling to space to save humanity, but this has a lot of comedy and was just so fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie because I think Ryan Gosling is the perfect part for this book. But if you love an in-depth sci-fi with a lot of science, definitely read this. And last but not least, because this is one of my favorite books of all time, it is considered a horror book, I think, but it doesn't feel super horror. It is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is such a good book. I don't feel that I need to go into the plot of this because we all know Dracula. You know what I mean? We kind of know the general story of Dracula. So I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but the book is written so differently than anything I had read before. It's in a style of journal entries, and the journal entries are from different people who might be in different places in the world or different parts of the country. And I think the way that it's all laid out is so good because sometimes I worry that journal entries will not allow you to fully explore the story, but that was not the case here. This was so good. I could picture everything so well. I understood what was happening. I just ate this whole book up. This would be a perfect Halloween read, and I need to reread this at Halloween because I think I read it 2 years ago around Halloween, and I definitely need to read it again. It was one of my first books after I started my reading journey, but it is one that got me super hooked. Super hooked. Definitely check this one out if you like horror that's not too scary like me, if you're a bit of a baby. And if you like classic literature, this is a great classic, and I definitely want to reread this book. So those are some of my favorite reads. I hope you guys will read them, and if you do, I hope that you like them. If you don't like them, that's okay, but don't tell me because I will get sad. So definitely recommend them, but if you read them and you like them, definitely comment and let me know because I would love to talk about the books. They are just so good. And then I was thinking about doing a video of my least favorite books on my shelf. If you guys are interested in that, definitely let me know. Because that was something I was kind of interested in. It's not books that I like hate, but more books that I've kept that I'm like kind of on the fence about getting rid of. So it might be like an unhaul / my least favorite books on my shelf type of video. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, subscribe. Bye.